Hey guys, I'm out here today trying to catch some of the best bait that you can absolutely have for the surf. I mean, this bait is amazing. It is a very well kept secret, but I'm going to share it with you today because, well, hey, I'm a rebel, I guess. What we're doing is we're pumping ghost shrimp. Now, what ghost shrimp live in a lot of times is slower moving water. You can get them off the beach, but they live in these little mounds, and I just want to show you. Don't know if you can see that little mound right there or any of these little holes. They kind of look like tiny ant hills, and you need a pump. You can probably use a shovel, I guess, to dig them up. And then what you have to do is you have to dump the sand next to the hole, let the current carry it away, which is what I'm doing. I'm in very slow moving current right now, so it takes it a little while to carry the debris away. But the good thing about ghost shrimp is once you pump them out or dig them out, they're a very, very slow moving creature. So you have time to go get your net, go get your bucket, eat you a sandwich. They're probably still going to be there. And they kind of look like a little alien. And I'll show you that in a little while. But right now I want to show you what I'm doing. So what I've got here, I've got my ghost shrimp pump. Made this myself out of PVC, and I'm going to show you how to make one of these in a later video. But for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to find us a pretty good mound, and that looks like a decent one right there. Okay, now you can see all of this haze. So we're going to let the current carry that away. And we're just going to stand here a minute or two, and we're just going to kind of look amongst the haze, wait for the current to carry it away. And you'll see them laying right on the ground. They're kind of like an orange and white looking little shrimp. Their flesh is very, very tender, so you can't put one on a hook and cast it out. It doesn't matter how gently you try to cast them. You have to use magic thread, which is an elastic rubber band type material that kind of sticks to itself. You can get a spool of it in your local bait shop for probably about $4 to $6. And what you do is you attach your shrimp to the hook, and then you wrap it up. And I'll show you all of that later, but right now we're just going to kind of look and see if we've managed to pump anything out. What I like to look for, there's all of these holes, but I like to look for mounds that kind of look like tiny ant hills. And typically I'll do 2 to 3 pumps per hole. Oh, there's one right there. I just saw him. Now I seen him kind of get lost in the haze. Now there he is. You see that right there? You see this tiny little creature right there? That is a ghost shrimp. Now, like I said before, they're a very slow moving creature. But these claws they have, they'll try to get you. Now, sometimes you'll get more than one ghost shrimp out of a hole. So it's not a bad idea to just kind of stand there and hang out a second. But that is the only one that I immediately saw. These things are some of the best bait that you can have for inshore. They're like candy to everything. Oh, and I see another one. You see him right there, little yellow spot, trying to make his way back to his hole. So that hole must have been a twofer. You see how easy that was to scoop him up? Once they get out of their hole, they just kind of lay there and flounder. Another thing that I've discovered, that after you've pumped a hole, even if you did it like 15-20 minutes ago and you didn't see anything right away, it's a good idea to just kind of walk back to it and just take a look. Now also, you can pump these things on high tide or low tide. It really doesn't matter. I prefer to do it on low tide just because I don't have to get in too deep of water. I can usually, you know, knee deep or less. Now, not every hole is going to have a ghost shrimp. So you have to be prepared to pump different holes, multiple holes. It does require a little bit of patience, but to a degree, it's kind of fun, really. You can't buy these in any bait shop in any part of the country that I'm aware of, because they are so hard to come by. But guys, I'm going to tell you, the effort you put in is equally proportionate to the reward. These are some of the absolute best bait that you can possibly use inshore, the surf, and places like that. It is well worth the effort. If there's any fish around, any at all, 99 times out of 100, they'll take a ghost shrimp over just about anything else. I'm telling you guys, these things are almost like magic, which is why I'm down here trying to catch some. I've probably got about 8 or 9 right now. Some days you'll come and pump ghost shrimp and you'll get a lot of them very quickly. And sometimes you will work and work and work before you get one. But hey, you know, it's fishing, right? You know, I'm in very slow moving current right now. In fact, it's almost non-existent. But it's enough to carry the cloud away. And so we just kind of stand here and look around and wait to see if we can see one. And as I mentioned before, not every hole has a ghost shrimp in it, or if it does, they're pretty deep. Or a lot of these, you know, a ghost shrimp doesn't necessarily live in one hole. As I mentioned, it's kind of like an anthill. He may have several holes that are his, right? And it's hard to figure out which hole he's in. Oh, I see another ghost shrimp. I've got me some water and a big rock in this bucket so it won't float away. What is that? It's a rock. Do you see that ghost shrimp right there by my net? See how easy that was? Oh, that's a big one too. He's got a big old claw. The hardest part about ghost shrimping is really just pumping them out. Now, I'll take these home tonight and put them under a bubbler. And if they live, that's great. And if they don't, then I'll freeze them. They'll still work. You just want them fresh, right? Like, you don't want to keep them in the freezer for days and weeks and months. They will work if you freeze them. But you got to have that magic thread. You absolutely have to have it. These things, they don't have much of an exoskeleton like a shrimp or anything like that. They're very soft. They're incredibly soft. So when you put it on the hook, you have to wrap it with a magic thread, or it's just not going to stay on there. Now, when you do this, another thing I forgot to mention, it's really good to have polarized sunglasses because it helps you see into the water. Without polarized sunglasses, it's a little more difficult to see the shrimp. Now, sometimes if you've got a little bit stronger current, when you push your sand out, the ghost shrimp doesn't weigh very much, so sometimes he'll end up down current a little bit. And so you don't want to look just around the hole. You want to look quite a few feet down current, you know, 3-4 feet, what have you. All right, guys. Well, we managed to catch us a couple of ghost shrimp. We even managed to snag us a little crab. I'll show you what we got right here. See all those ghost shrimp in there? There's probably a dozen and a half. See my little crab right there? So these will all be used for bait tomorrow. Usually I manage to catch a little bit more ghost shrimp than that. Today the pickings were pretty slim, but we got some bait tomorrow and hopefully we can turn that into something edible. Y'all stick around and let's see what happens with that.